my, what am I drinking? Orange and, what is it? Chamomile tea, herbal tea. Look at these. I've got no foundation on today. Hi, Michael Bay. No foundation on today because I didn't feel like it. Hair's a bit frizzy because it's been washed, so it's a bit more natural. So yeah, this chat is about my beliefs, which haven't changed as such. They've always really been the same, but I'm trying to get this frizzy piece of hair. What is that? And it's okay for what everyone else believes. Thank you. Feeling a bit frizzy. But it's just a chat on my beliefs, and if they haven't changed, they haven't really changed, they just might have wandered off. Well, they haven't even wandered, no, they've not changed. I don't know. I've written stuff down to try and jog a memory of what I'm talking about, but as you know, I've written it down and can't really read what I've wrote because it's a bit messy because I wrote it down quite quickly, but I always say I don't know if I'm making sense. And some people will see some of the stuff I'm saying as conspiracy theories, but a lot of what's going on lately that I've been watching or listening to, yeah, people will call them conspiracy. Hiya, Sandy. People will call them conspiracy. I'm really good. Conspiracy theories or whatever, but it doesn't matter because it's just interesting. But the things I'm coming across or stumbling across are like, people calling them conspiracy theories, but what I'm seeing, I think I'm a bit too high up. Don't know, making a lot of sense to me. And even with the thing about, sorry if any Americans are watching if you don't like him, but Trump. I think Trump's doing stuff behind the scenes. People are looking, I've seen some people change lately. I'm not even American, but some people thought he was doing bad. But behind the scenes and things that are coming out lately, which is the sort of thing I want to talk about as well, not of Trump, but things I believe are going on for the better. But like I said, they're only my beliefs, so nobody take offence. Hiya, Sarah. Nice to meet you too. Nobody take offence if I'm saying something you don't like, even if it's about Trump or, I don't know, anything I'm going to say in a minute. Just don't take offence. It's just my beliefs and how I look at things. Because I do believe we're all from one source, whether you say that's God or the consciousness or whatever. We're all from one source, so don't get mad with each other because we're all the same, but we all think different and have different thoughts because I believe if you're brought up in a certain way or your parents were brought up a certain way and they believe a certain thing, and I think schooling's got a lot to do with some things, sometimes the way we're taught some stuff, and who you hang around with, you will think different to what other people think. And if you believe in a religion or whatever, then you will probably think slightly different. And sorry, I've got two different nail colours on because I'm supposed to be changing them over and I've not done them yet. That's why I say it's nothing to do with race, colour of your skin, whatever. We just think different sometimes because of the way we were brought up, even if sometimes the way you were brought up you don't believe in, but the way you were brought up, things you were taught, I should say, make you either believe different things or, you know what I'm trying to say. So don't anyone take offence with anything I'm saying. I'm just talking about what I believe. And I have always said in previous videos that when I was a child, we were brought up around a lot of country because we were in the army and we moved around a lot in the UK and even lived in Germany for a little bit, not long, but you move around when you're in the forces, whatever. But I just remember when I was younger, being around the countryside, people who are around a lot of country, even if you live there now, or a kid will understand. If you've always been brought up in a city, then maybe you won't, I don't know. Or you might appreciate it when you go to the country, but was always a lot of animals that we saw. We played in the forests. We made mud pies, when you're making mud pies, even though Mum didn't like it because she is a bit of a clean freak. And she is in this chat as well. Ugh, in a good way, but in an annoying way as well. And if you've heard me talk about Mum, she's very, people who have OCD and all that. So even as a child, I do remember her not being happy if we came home with dirt on our top. But it was like, but Mum, we're playing out. That's what kids do. They don't do it so much now. But then I remember getting told off for being dirty, which is mad because that's what you should be doing. Kids should be making mud pies. They should be getting filthy outside and playing and climbing trees and all that sort of good stuff. But I'm just saying, I remember being around nature. I've also got my distilled water, because we're led to believe that distilled water is bad for you, in a copper cup, which is led to being, having a lot of copper is led to be believed to being bad for you, and you should have more iron. Not what I've been seeing lately. But there's a lot of videos on stuff like that. And someone I've been watching, I said, called Mia's New Pair of Glasses. She's got a really good channel, and someone she collaborates with as well. If you want to join in with the conspiracy theories, but I just say go and look at some stuff, and this is what it's about. It's about researching, and you'll see what you think about stuff, if stuff makes sense or doesn't make sense. It's fun in a way as well. So don't poo-hoo things. And this girl says in her, just going off chat now, her chats, that don't believe what she says. Go and research and look up for videos and people's things, what they're saying, and see what you think. Because I don't know if you've noticed, anyone who watches a lot of YouTube, there's a lot of conspiracy theories on videos now everywhere about the Illuminati, about Satanism, about Trump, about just loads. But there's a reason. There's a reason why there's a lot of that going on at the minute. But yeah, she's got a really good channel. But yeah, just saying about nature. So we're always brought around animals, playing in the forest, the trees, and all that good stuff in nature. So I've always had that thing about, as I've said, believed in fairies when I was little, because we played in forests and stuff. And, when you're reading stories as a child, you just, I used to think they lived in oak trees. They had little doors. You only get the little doors you can buy, and just stuff like that when you're a kid, and you believe in your imagination and you believe all that. But basically, I'm saying I was brought up when I was younger around a lot of countryside and animals and fresh air and water and stuff. I remember getting pushed in a river when I was younger, which a lot of kids don't get these days. I'm not saying all, but a lot of kids are on computers now and stuff like that, and it's just different. But my beliefs have always been, I've never been religious. I can't, and I'm not knocking anyone in here who is, it's not about that. I'm just saying it's me. So if you are, that's fine. I'm just saying I'm not. I remember my nana going to church, and we went with her a couple of times. I have spoke about this before, and I just used to sit in church and was like, Not that necessarily it means I didn't believe what's been written in the Bible, because I do believe a lot of it makes sense in the Bible, but I'm not always into how some people interpret it, if that's the right word, or even people in the church interpret it, because all I see in any religion, and I'm not religious, is control sometimes. But I do see the truth in religion. But what I take from religion is, whatever book in religion, because there's a lot, and they all seem to sort of say the same thing, because they all have gods or different gods, but they all have a god and this, that, and the other. But I see it as it was a guidance, and the basic guidance of what they were saying was to be a good human, to be good, mankind, split the word up, mankind, turn it round, kind man. It's basically, to me, not somebody telling you what you should do and you must do this, like this, like this, and be controlled. It is a guideline for telling you, guidance, of telling you, showing you the guidance of being a good human being, because there's a lot of stuff going on the internet at the minute about the elites and all this and that. You'll know if you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you won't. And the stuff that they're into, and I do believe they're into the stuff that they're into, and they do say Satanism and the dark occult. Now, where I have a problem with is because a lot of people are talking about it. If you know what I mean, you'll know what I mean. And all these things that go on behind closed doors, and I do believe it, and I think it's disgusting. It's awful, and when it all comes out, a lot of people are going to be shocked, and that's what they're saying, that people are going to be upset, shocked, traumatised. They're going on about some videos that could come out, but to tell the truth, I couldn't watch it. I know about it, but I couldn't watch it. I'd be so upset, but I believe it, because I believe, like I've said, there's always good and there's always bad, and there always will be good and bad. Even in religion, people will say, and I'm only saying this in an example, but people say, oh, the church is good, and then some people say, oh, it can be bad, but I don't believe it's bad. It'll have bad people in it. Like, every set of groups of something will always have someone who, has a bad streak. So there's always that, no matter what religion or organisation or whatever group you're in, there'll always be someone seen as maybe, a bit badder. But I don't even know if that makes sense, but what I'm trying to say is, when these people are talking about these elites, and these are in people high up, business people, celebrities, this, that and the other, if you're watching these videos, people that you wouldn't think would do that, because it's always, that thing, if you see something bad happening, you go, someone's done something to someone else, and you think, well, I knew that person, they never seemed that way, they seemed quite nice. But the point is, that I have a problem with is, when I was going through my belief system and my path, which I am still on, because I believe a lot of it's to do with learning, and me coming on here and finding other people that I like have led me to other videos, different videos, and finding different things where I'm thinking, do you know what? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And other things are falling away. But I wouldn't say so much now that I'm into the, like, what was I saying it was before? I wouldn't say Wiccan, because that is a religion, I believe, and I don't like control. Yeah, I do believe in God, and I do believe there was a man called Jesus, and he did, or whatever his name was, but he did come to tell people how to live a happy life and a peaceful life in love and compassion, and to try and guide you. But I can't explain all that. Maybe I'll try and explain it one day. But I do believe that. But these things that are going on around the world at the minute that I'm trying to say is, like, they've been, like, yeah, because we all come from, I call it a higher consciousness, God. I don't say the word God, but that's what I mean. But these people who are saying the occult, which obviously I see two occults, because I see the dark occult and then the light occult, which Wiccan is a religion, so I don't like that, because I don't like religion, because I see it a bit as controlled. I see it as a bit of controlled. I don't like being controlled. If there's someone saying this, that and the other, you must do this, you must do that, I don't like it. But when I was saying before that I was more pagan, because I believed in, well, for one, I do believe in, obviously, different seasons and things like that. To do with nature I'm talking about, not anything else, because that, I think pagans, do believe in that, and, all them sort of things that I've talked about before. I'm not really going to go into that, but like when they talk about witches, which I was saying, I, liked that and was that, because I like doing, well, I always saw a witch, I know this sounds bad to some people, as, if history is right, because now I'm wondering, watching all this stuff like what is right and what's wrong, because it's history, split it in the middle, his story. Whatever went on, I've always thought of it as not the cartoons with the Green Witch, but as, and there was always good and bad. Like, I know this sounds mad, in the Wizard of Oz there was always Glenda the Good Witch, and then what was her name? The witch of the whatever, the one with the house landed on her. She was a bad witch. She was green, because like I said, it doesn't matter what group things you're in. Sometimes there's always good and bad. People have gone corrupt, whatever. So I always saw them sort of people as, how I understood it years back was, oh, they got burned at the stake. But I always saw it as, and I know people will go into the arguments of religion and this, that, and the other, and Christianity, blah, 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 but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people. I always saw them as, right, so they had herbs. Yeah, the Wicked Witch of the East. They had herbs and stuff, and they used things from the earth to make medicines. What's wrong with that? Because I believe things from the earth, we were put on the earth, things from the earth are for us. They feed us, they make us better. I don't actually believe all these medicines and stuff that we have, not all of them, because I do believe, we move on and there are things that can help, but a lot of it, I don't think does. I think it's found in the earth that was given to us. It is found in nature. Everything we need is found in nature. And they knew that, and I just think there's some people who wanted to take that away to get us consuming other things, because a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world today is to do with consumerism. I don't know if this is making any sense, because it sounds batty. Spending our money and buying other things instead of actually, we have a lot of free things in nature, but they don't want us to have the free things because they want us spending our money, if that makes sense. Yep, and the root of all evil is money. That's why we have so many advertisings on YouTube, on TV and everything, and I go on about I don't watch TV anymore. I watch a little bit of it. I watched last night. I had to watch it because it made me laugh. The love of money. Not money, the love of money, because money can be put to good. And that's another thing, it's how you use something. So, I'm alright, Jackie, you, but it's like, what I'm seeing at the minute is they're going on about such and such a body's a witch. And I'm not going to say who, because if you're on these so-called, what people call conspiracy theories at the minute, you'll know. Or the dark occult, and they're doing this and they're doing that and it's satanic. Yes, it is, and I believe they are, and it is, but I just don't want people going off on a witch hunt, as in they think everybody's like that who's into that. Yeah, everybody who's like into that, because that to me is the bad occult, the dark occult. The other occult, I don't know how to say what they like occult, just people who are doing things for the good. Like I said, when I used to do stuff, it was intentions. It was putting your intentions out there, which is your thoughts, which I've said, if you're religious, you pray. And to me, that's the same, or you send a wish out. You're thinking about something and you're putting it out there. But people would use things like bits of, flowers or herbs or whatever, because it just honed them in and focused on the intent that they were putting out there. And there's nothing bad in that. And any books that I've read or used to read never said anything about hurting anyone or killing anyone or anything like that, or even hexing anyone or whatever you want to call it, putting bad vibes on that person, unless it was sort of like you were doing it because you didn't want them to harm themselves. Fair enough, because the law what is, don't do harm. Like I've always said, you don't do something to somebody you wouldn't do to yourself. But then there is that dark occult that don't care. They hurt people, kill people, whatever they do, and they're not bothered. They're not bothered what they do to get to where they want to be. They don't care. Because in my eyes, they're not even human. And I just mean that in a sense as they don't feel, they're not bothered. And there's a lot of this reptilian stuff going on at the minute. I don't know what to believe about that. All I believe is, well, a reptilian to me is somebody who, don't reptilians have cold blood, like blue blood, so they're cold, blue blood, so they're cold, so they don't have feelings. To me, it's somebody who doesn't have feelings. They've either been brainwashed or the way they've been brought up to just, things they've been through and traumas and stuff, to not feel anything. Yeah, they say it's son of witchcraft, but because that's what they're talking about. But I've been there because I like that, but that sort of fell away now. But it was in the intention of good. But when you're using witchcraft for bad, because the stuff I've been learning now since I've been on the conspiracy thing about, when I said about spellcasting, the way they use words, well, the way these people use words, and years ago, numbers have got a secret language that people don't see because you don't think about it. We were taught in a different way. But what I'm just trying to say is basically there's good and bad. There always has been and always will be, I guess, even though they're saying now that, things are going to come up and people are, the Great Awakening, people are going to find out. And I do believe that. And I think they just cut all the event they're calling it, because I see it as it's been like this horrible things that have been happening. Obviously, a lot of people have known for years. A lot of people, I've only woke up recently properly. But it sort of has to, I don't know if this makes sense, it sort of has to come back in line where a lot of that will go. But then again, in so many years again, even if it's hundreds, thousands of years, it'll come back again, because that'll start creeping in, because they do say about duality, and there's always been bad and evil, basically. But I just feel sorry for the people who are into stuff like that on the good side, which I have a lot of people that I follow who are into that, and you can tell it's a good thing, but people who might troll them or say, oh yeah, you're into that. No, they're not, because if you actually look what they're doing, they're not. But I don't know if you get what I'm going on about, but and it's like the thing I'm following, yes, I am liking Trump, and I know there's Americans that watch me on here and the Q thing that's going on, but hey, that's because I've been watching a few stuff. I've not been listening to the news on the television. I've been going on a channel where they tell you to go and research yourself, which is what I've been saying to people. When you watch the news at home, they put out what they want you to put out. And you can't ring up the news station and say, well, I'm going to put my 2p piece in, blah, 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 I've just found out this. You can't do that. It's just what they're telling you. And the pictures that you see on the news, or anything, films, whatever, are what they want you to see. Bit like magic, really. It's what they want you to see. The visions they want to put out are the visions that they put out. And my granddad said, and I keep telling my mum this, years ago, he worked for the paper years and years ago, and he said, don't believe what you read isn't always true just because it's in the paper, which is the same as the news. It's the media. You'll have heard, some people have heard of things about Zuckerberg, what's going on, and Twitter and Google and Netflix and Facebook, even though I deleted myself off Facebook but went back on, which is a bit contradicting because of what it stands for. Some people don't know. Not just the thing they were saying it was, there's a lot more to it. But then again, I think you can get around that sometimes, because we do live in an AI age of technology. Yeah, exactly, Michael. But you've got to do your research as well, so don't always believe what people say. You don't have to believe what I'm saying. I'm just saying this is what I think. Maybe things will change what I think in a few months. I don't know. But we have technology. Yeah, we have technology, and it's good in a sense, but in some sense it's harmed us a lot. And I just believe that these people who put, Facebook up, this, that, and the other, Twitter, we're all connecting, but I've said, but it's a false connection as well, even though we are connecting, but there's a lot of good in connecting humanly with your friends and family, as in when you go and visit them, like I said the other day, switch your phone off and put it in your bag. If you're out on a date, switch your phone off and put it in your bag. It doesn't have to be there all the time. You need to reconnect properly, human to human, not thinking it's all right just to text people all the time and just... I know it's great because families live around the world and, that sort of thing. I'm not saying it's not a good thing, but sometimes take time away from stuff. That's why I've not been on here a lot. But you can use it. Instead of being a sheep and following everyone else or swim that way. So use Facebook as... I was using it like that anyway. It was a positive thing. I was always putting positive stuff up, not all this, everyone moans on there about jobs and different things, people moan. Don't moan, just use it for the good. Like Instagram and stuff, you use it different. Everyone uses them. I know everyone does it. I've done it, to say take selfies and this, that, and the other, and the kids, and there is an agenda to all that sort of stuff we don't know about. And we'll see if it all comes out, but use it for the good of showing people different things, and the right people will come to your channel or your Instagram who want to know about them things. That's why I'm saying don't believe what I'm saying. There'll people be putting thumbs down, there'll be people commenting saying, oh, she's listening to the conspiracy theories, don't listen to the conspiracy theories. Well, at the minute, it's just what I think, because the channel that I went to, that some people won't get if you've not been on it since, well, I think it started last year, but they don't tell you to believe it. They tell you to go and find the information that they're giving you, and then you can find information off that, and then see what you think. So if anyone's channel saying to me, believe this, you must believe it, then I'm like, no, that's a bit dodge. If someone's saying, don't believe what I'm saying, go and do your own research, that makes me think, right, this channel seems to be okay, because they're not telling you to believe what they're saying. They're telling you to do your own research. If the news came on and said, right, this is happening, going on about Syria, this, that and the other, but here's a link to this, and this will show you this, that and the other, see what you think. But they don't do that. What were they going after in Syria? What did they bomb? What did Theresa May say in the news the other day? I don't watch the news, but I've started watching bits of it just to see what they're saying. She said, oh, and it wasn't Trump who told me to do it, because she was supposed to, inform Parliament what she was doing first, but she didn't. There was a reason why she didn't. And Trump didn't tell her to do it. Why did she mention his name? I'm sure last night I was watching The Queen's Green Planet, and it was about her planting trees, and I thought, oh, this is funny how this is just coming on. Sorry, I've never been into the royals. If you're American and think, ooh, you come from England and not into the royals, I never have been. I'm glad I haven't been as well. But she said something last night about the planting trees, and Angelina Jolie was in it as well. I was like, She was on the documentary about planting trees, which is good about planting trees, and she's going on about a canopy of trees, to help the earth. And kids should be running around in nature. Yeah, they should. But with all the stuff we have today, they're not doing much of it. And I'm sure she said, because I don't know if my phone went off, a plane went across. Exactly. That's why I think I've never been into him. But to me it looked like, sorry if anyone likes him, this programme was put on last night to look like, oh, I'm planting all these trees, well, and all this, and fair enough. But I'm sure she said a plane went over, and I'm sure she cracked a joke and said, oh, is that Trump? Now, what are you mentioning Trump for? She didn't have to mention Trump, but I don't know. It was the same day Theresa May mentioned it, and she mentioned it, and I'll just see how all that spins off. But you see, where the Americans have it right, as I can see it, is your military pledge an oath of is it an oath to the country, whereas don't. That's all I'm saying. So you'll know what I mean if you know what I'm talking about. I'm like, oh, the things I'm just learning now off the internet, and a lot of people are thinking like this now. I'm just like, oh, history has been lied about, certain bits and bobs, or it's been twisted. This is why they said, when a lot of people wake up to it, some won't wake up to it, but they will, because they'll have no choice, because they'll see something or hear something where you can't deny, like, it's not happened, are either going to have a massive breakdown and end up in hospital, or they're just not going to, I don't know, they're going to have an heart attack and die or something. I just don't know. They're just going to, I've been through that bit of like, oh my God, like, woke up in the morning thinking, am I seriously on this planet? Am I really trying to get my head around what I'm seeing and hearing? Like, I don't know, it's bonkers. But that's what I was just saying about, I've always believed in nature. And when you hear people saying, like, oh, all of a sudden, well, it might not be all of a sudden, it's been coming out slowly, like, marijuana or hemp or whatever is good for you and it can help with cancer and this, that and the other. Yeah, that's because it comes from nature. And if they were trying to burn crops down or stuff like this in other countries, it's because they don't want us to have it. We'll have little bits of it, but maybe it's probably got bad stuff in it, so it's not like 100% pure. Because, like I said, if we were put on this planet, however we came here to be, whatever it is, the planet was here to, it is our home. It was here to feed us. It was here to clothe us. It was here to give us the food. If we got ill, there was something there to heal us. It's natural, and that's why they say you don't hear of a lot. You won't hear that apparently a lot of people who are, what's the right word? The herbalist doctors. Exactly. God gave us plants for food and medicine, and they say hemp, the actual plant of hemp, the stalk can be used for clothing, paper, loads of things out of that. But man always wants to destroy everything. But yeah, it's just bonkers. And the more I think about it, I just think, well, that's why they're trying to, they've doctors have gone missing or been killed, these herbalism, the herbalist, what they called, like, people who do natural sorts of natural forms of medicine. Why is that then? Because maybe the big, places that do all the medicines, it's obviously cha-ching ching, isn't it? So, they don't want us. You could grow something in your back garden that could make you better. Well, they don't want that, do they? Because it's free. Hi, Sue. But what I'm trying to say is, if stuff comes out and they're saying, oh, they're from this sort of thing, like they're saying, oh, she's a witch or Satanism. They are into Satanism, but they're the bad occult, Don't poo-hoo the ones saying that they are, witchy or whatever, who are on the good side, because even if that's a farce and it was made up years ago and maybe it was something to do with they wanted to get people in, if you know what I mean, if you know what I'm talking about, they wouldn't know that. But from the books I've read and seen, there's nothing in that that's bad. Whereas what I'm seeing with these other people from the dark occult, the Satanists who believe in the devil and do all the things for that, I mean, what? Sacrificing kids and that isn't a good thing to do. I don't think anyone in their right mind, and all the load of stuff that goes with that, in your right mind, you would think, oh, this is normal and this is a thing I should do, unless you've got a warped mind or you've had your mind warped, because that is not what you do to yourself. As I said, you don't do to others what you wouldn't do to yourself. So don't speak to somebody in a nasty way. You wouldn't hurt them if you didn't want to be hurt or spoken to in a nasty way. And it's bonkers. And being a good person isn't about that side of it, but it's just bonkers. And that's why, I've been trying to do more meditation, because I think, and people go, oh, meditation, or they're all like, new age and all that. The thing is, I think about meditation is, today we live in a fast-paced world. Everything's busy, noisy, and that we forget to, people say, ground the self. Be still for a little while and not have electrical things on, and just sit and be still and just think, or not even think, just be with yourself in the moment and just see what sort of like comes to you. And it's a nice calming effect. And yoga is like, that's another thing I want to talk about in a minute. It's a form of exercise, but it's not too strenuous. You feel it in the morning, but you can, like some exercises, you can think while you're doing it. Yeah. I do, don't get me wrong, I do believe in the Bible, and I do believe, what's been written. There's a lot of truth in the Bible, but some people down the way have twisted it to their, how they want to control people, if you know what I mean. But the people who know, how to take it, to read it properly, sort of thing, if you know what I mean. But because you need a bit of exercise. You don't need to be killing yourself with exercise, but you do need a bit of exercise. And human connection is massive, but also what goes along with human connection is what I was saying the other day about grounding. I've just watched again, I think she's called Mia's New Glasses or New Spectacles, I can't remember. Check her videos out. She was saying about grounding again. And I do believe in it, because the other day, I was in the garden doing my digging and planting, and my sunflowers have come up now. And these two have come up, which I didn't think would come up, because them two were put in the dirt, and these were sprouted on just a paper towel in a box. So what I did is I got my sunflowers out of birdseed, because I had some birdseed, got them out, wet this through, and I just put seeds on top. And then after a couple of days, they start getting shoots. And when they got a little bit longer, I planted them in the earth in toilet roll holders, because that's another thing that they try to get us rid of all our, stuff we throw out. This was I don't know if this is going to work. This is just a cutting. I don't even know if that's going to work. They were from sprouting and they're growing, so that's good. These I think the succulents I got the other day. I've never done this with succulents, don't know what I'm doing, but actually I just stuck them in. I got them off the internet and thought they'd be dead. Stuck them in some earth, and it's got, I don't know if you can see, it's got roots on it. It didn't have roots on it the other day, so I know I'm doing all right with them. I'm trying to be a good plant mother. What's hormone? What's that? I'm not brilliant on plants, but they're working. And also, I had this big rock in the garden, and I'm painting the front of this. I've got to go over it again. It's not dry. And then I'm going to paint something on it, and it's going to be called Annie's Garden, because my garden's going to be called Annie's after my nana, who passed away last year. That I was really close to, and that's where I was saying about connection. You really need to get the earth connection, because on the girls' videos I was telling you about grounding the other day. I'm in the garden digging away. The other day when it was sunny, it's raining again today. I think it's supposed to be nice from tomorrow, Thursday. So weather is rubbish at the minute in the UK. But it was sunny, really hot. You can see a bit of a tan line there, and I'm there digging away, and then I just thought, oh yeah, grounding. I must take my shoes off, because grounding isn't grounding sat where I am now or sitting in the garden with your shoes on. So I took my shoes off, and I thought my mum was down, what she's like. I thought, she's going to go mad. So the grass was a bit wet, but I took my shoes off because it was sunny, and I thought, oh well, wet feet. I'm digging. But when I was digging, I did put my wellies on, and then I took them off when I was just planting and stuff. So I sat down in the grass, and it was wet in the dirt. I got filthy. My feet were filthy. My mum comes out and goes, what are you doing? Oh, your feet are dirty, like when I was a kid and I was making bud pies. I went, Mum, I'm having a shower after anyway. I'm covered in dirt. I was wiping dirt all over my face. And it was all over my feet. But I tell you what, it did feel really good, because the girl was saying in the video, grounding is putting your feet, which if you think about it, no, this might sound mad to some, is like your toes are like roots. So you're putting your feet, your soles, this is what the girl was saying, your soles of your feet, funny how they're called soles, onto the earth, which always makes me think about the film Avatar, because I love films like that. Because what was the tree called now, AOR or something, or whatever it was called, where they say, everything's connected, because I believe everything is connected. We're connected, not just humans, we're connected to animals, we're connected to the plants, like root systems. So our root system is like your connection, it's like your feet. Feet on the earth, this is how I see it, go up through your feet and you're connecting. And that's why they're saying, they're finding now that earthing or grounding, whatever you want to say it as, is very relaxing. Obviously it's hard to do if the weather's not good. Very relaxing, and it helps with diseases and anxiety and stuff like that. Well, yeah, that totally makes sense to me. You're putting your feet, that I think, if it was right, years and years and years and years, thousands of years back, whenever the world started, when we were humans, I don't think we came out with shoes on. That's why when you see a lot of tribal people, in any parts where they live in the jungle parts, in forests or in deserts and stuff, yeah, they were barefooted, because I think the soles of your feet do toughen up a bit the more you wear them. If you're not wearing shoes, they toughen up a bit to the terrain that you're in. The terrain that you're in, your suit will adapt. Your feet will adapt to. They were plugged into the earth. We are not plugged into the earth because we wear shoes. I know we just can't go out in the street now and not wear shoes, because the paths and people drop glass in the street and dog poo and God knows what. But when you're in your garden in nice weather, take your shoes off and let your kids take the shoes off. Obviously, if you know it's a safe area, if you're having a picnic or something. But that's what people did years ago. We didn't have shoes until the first bloody shoes were invented. And this girl was also saying about, what was it? Hi. Oh, hi. Was also saying about how, this is probably going to sound mad to people, but it totally makes sense to me. Rubber on your feet stops you from connecting to the earth. Obviously, shoes stop you from connecting because you've got shoes on, but rubber's one of the biggest things. And she was talking about Nike trainers, when people wear trainers. Like I said, I know we can't not walk around with shoes on, especially where I live, because the weather's just rubbish. But she was saying about yoga mats, and I was thinking, oh yeah, and I do a bit of a yoga. Even if you went outside in nature in yoga, a lot of people have a rubber yoga mat. So you're not actually doing your yoga on the earth because you're doing it on the mat because obviously you want to stay clean. So if any of you do yoga outside, just diss the mat and connect properly. They're saying it's stopping you from connecting. And I actually think it makes a lot of sense. Soles of your, I know it's spelt different, but the soles of your feet, the soles of your feet should be touching the earth. So if you live in a sunny climate, then you're fine, you can do it. If we have to wait till there's a bit of a weather, which I will this week when I'm in the garden again, when I'm doing my gardening again, I'm going to take my shoes and socks off when I've done digging, obviously, and I'm going to do it again because it did make me feel really good, and to be out in the sunshine, the fresh air, and grounding your feet. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but I do believe there's a lot in that. Because as we've progressed in the years, a lot of things have changed. But I do believe, like people are saying, there's certain things they've put out over time to stop us from being free, stop us from being connected to the divine, as you want to, whatever you want to call the consciousness, God, divine, I don't know what anyone then calls it, stopping us connecting. There's a lot of talk about... they're always pushing calcium on us, they're always pushing iron on us, but I've heard calcium's not that good for what you think it's for. Calcifies things, fluoride in our water calcifies things, calcifies your pineal gland, which that's supposed to connect you to source, the divine. If you want to get on a spiritual term now, a bit of a chat, it stops you from connecting because it calcifies things. I've been lately drinking distilled water. Now, they say distilled water's bad for you and it's not good for you. I'm fine. I've noticed a few good things with it, and I'm not brushing with fluoride toothpaste either, and I seem to have less problems with that. So, that's a bit odd, isn't it? And it's all to do with... You need to go and watch the channel. I'm sure it's Mia's new glasses, or I don't think it's spectacles. New pair of glasses. I think it's Mia's new pair of glasses. It's Mia or Maya. New pair of glasses. I don't think it's spectacles. And you watch what she's saying. But to me, it might not make sense to some people. Some people might watch and think, well, yeah, what do I do? Or, no, I don't believe that. But I do. So that's what I'm just saying. It's just my beliefs. But I can see how we would have been lied to. And how things have gone over times. And they're talking about from years ago, even for like when televisions first came into existence in the 40s or something. Been put into homes to lie to us about stuff, because a lot of people do really believe what they see on the TV and especially the news. You know, and saying that though, I've been watching a funny channel that I don't even know what they're called was doing. I think it was Lethal Weapon with Mel Gibson in, but they put the head of Trump on Mel Gibson, and all the other baddies were, the elites. I couldn't stop laughing when I was watching it. But people go on about this, that and the other, and I just think, if there's somebody there who's trying to make not just their country great, but trying to help the whole globe to see certain things that are going on in their countries, then I don't see bad in it, because a lot of countries are in cahoots with other countries, as we know. They try to... I just laugh at the news now because there's certain things that have been coming out and you're just thinking, oh, somebody's changed the tune, or they always have a little snippet underneath, and it's never the big thing we're talking about, because they don't want to sort of put a lot of what do you call it, a lot of attention on it. And sometimes when people say conspiracy theories, you've got to think, why are they calling it conspiracy theories? A lot of it's very confusing. There are people putting stuff out there to make you think, oh my God, everybody's a nutter. But why is there a lot of it out there? That's what you've got to think about. Some of it's scary, but at the same time, some of it's really amazing, because my mum said when I was trying to tell her, red pill her, whatever you want to call it, is that what you've heard? Oh, that's a good thing to me. See, some people thought he was doing wrong a few years ago. I've never been into politics ever. I've never really voted, because I just think, they do what they want when they get into power, whatever. But this is the only time in my life I've been actually bothered about it and interested in it, and especially because of what I've been seeing, I believe Trump's actually doing now. What people thought he was doing a bit ago. It's like, there'll be people on here from America and they might think, oh God, why is she saying that? But I believe, I could get this wrong, I don't know. And I'm not saying it didn't happen, and I'm not saying people didn't get hurt or die. But I believe the things with the shootings in the school, I believe, the kids went on the march and all that because they believe, obviously of course they want to go to a school that is safe and friends aren't getting hurt and they're not getting killed and this, that and the other. But I believe that was sort of put there, I don't know how to say it, as in to take guns away. But I've always heard people say in America on films and stuff, oh, we never take our guns away, because then, the government sort of thing, like, you won't be able to protect yourself, because if things went down, you've got the last piece of protection to protect you and your family if something went down and, the government or whatever, they've got their guns and everything, but the people haven't. So how do they protect themselves? So one of the biggest things is like, oh, nobody wants that and it's awful with the kids and stuff. So, we want to take the guns away, because I don't believe it's the guns, it's the people behind the guns. But to make that look on TV like it is a big massive thing, but I actually think, no, once your guns are gone, you don't have anything to protect yourself with. Like, we don't have guns in this country, a lot of countries don't have them. I don't know if yours is one of the last, I don't know. But they were proven in other countries that have had guns that there's never been, I can't remember what it was, much of a problem with it. It's mainly the person behind a gun, not because somebody's got a gun, if anyone gets what I'm saying, but more in the case of, it's a thing to say, oh, look, this is happening, we need to get the guns taken off everybody, the laws need to be changed, guns need to be taken away, we don't need them, it's going to be a safer place if you don't have guns. I don't believe that. But obviously, if you're following all these things, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I'm not saying none of it didn't happen and nobody got hurt and died or whatever, because it is really awful and it was really sad, and anything that's ever gone on like that is really sad. But these people who do stuff like this, they don't care. It's like my dad said, there's two sort of people. There's people who care and there's people who don't care. So it depends which one you are at the end of the day. And I believe some people have got swayed and some people have got blackmailed and some people have got, and they find it hard to get out. There's a lot of people talking now, celebrities, about all sorts of different things. And that's why you've got to wonder, it's to make you think, well, why are they all talking about this all of a sudden? Why is everyone always going on about Trump and conspiracy theories and Roseanne Barr and this, that and the other? And why is everyone like, everybody's talking about it? I don't know where you've been if you don't know, if you've not noticed on YouTube, there's a lot of talk of all this stuff, like, why? It's not a trend. And it has been going on for years, and a lot of people have known about it, but I've just realised, because I've woken up maybe properly at the beginning of this year, you can't talk to everyone. You can tell friends and they look at you like you're mad, and my friends have done, they don't know what I'm talking about when I've tried to talk about something, like when I fell out with someone because they didn't understand what I was saying. It wasn't about them or their family. It was to do with something else. They don't understand. They don't see it. And I've seen a lot more people waking up. And some people still won't, but all you can do is tell people, and it's up to them too, if they do the research or not, or if they sort of get what you're saying, just to be prepared, because when stuff does come out, it's not going to be a massive shock, but then again, I don't know. Well, it will be, but you're a little bit prepared for it. But like I said, my belief's always been in nature and just trying to be a good person. And we do all have blips, like I've said, and sometimes it's hard not to say things. And exactly, the Second Amendment, or you'll have to say something else so it comes back up. That's what I mean. To protect you and your family from the government. The Second Amendment is to protect your home and property, and in case the government goes off the rails. Exactly. Every evil dictator has taken guns, and I couldn't read the little bit. That's what I'm talking about. People think it's to do with. I had a discussion with someone who said, "What, you're saying that never happened in the school, and what, you stick up for someone who's all for that?" I said, "No, you're not. You're seeing what the news on TV is saying." And yes, it does sound awful, and yes, awful things have happened. People do get hurt in these situations, but you're not looking at what's behind it, because you're only seeing what they're putting on telly, and you're not thinking outside the box, But yeah, it's to do with that. And I'm glad that if more people are actually liking Trump in the UK as well, it's because people are starting to wake up. And I know there's quite a lot of people from the UK who go on the chat site that I go looking at, where they tell you to go and research. Because I'm not being funny, it's not just America, it's everywhere. They're in every country around the globe, so don't be thinking moving to a different country is going to make any difference, because it's everywhere. But they're trying to bring it down and bring it to... my mum said, yeah, but what's it going to do, just got to get on with it. Yeah, guns don't kill people, people do. UK wants to ban knives now, but next will be cars and rocks. Exactly. They just want to do everything, so nobody's got any form of defence or, whatever. But they will. They'll have it all, but the people won't. Everything should be for the people, for your country, for the people. In every country that you live in, everything should be benefiting every country. The world should be the same. If we're all the same, the world should be the same. But people, these ones don't want that. They want us split and divide. That's why they go on about religion. And I just see religion as, doesn't matter what religion you believe in, as long as it's good and you're doing good to people and you're being kind and you show a lot of love, then whatever your God's called is whatever your God's called. But at the end of the day, they do that to split us, because people argue over religion. Sports, they argue over sports. What team? There's so many things. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. I'll probably see you later. Because the lady who was in the bottom, then she's from the chat. If you're American, you might know, but if you're English, you can go on it. Someone said they did go on it, but they didn't understand it. But the more you watch the chat, you will start getting it. I'm not one of the brightest people, but I got it when my dad told me to go over there and was like, no way. You can go on it, look at it, try to get into it. If you don't get it, it's fine. If you think it's a conspiracy, fine, but whatever. But if you go on We the People 24/7, you will see what's going on. The great mods on there. You get different people on. We get a guy going on from Ireland called Gran Torino as well, because they're talking about stuff, sorting the island out and sorting about different things. Because like I said, it's not America. They're making America great again, which is great. Because they're saying it got sold out, and I can see that. Making it great again. Oh, Gran Torino's great. Yeah, Discord. Gran Torino is great. I mean, he's Irish. I love his voice as well. But yeah, I watched Gran Torino. He's brilliant. But it's to me, it's about, making them great, and then the world, because like I said, because I'm classed as a goody, or whatever you want to call it. I would want to see the world all the same, and with the good people, you know, there shouldn't be people starving, this, that, and the other, and all the things that go on, but whatever. But yeah, you go on that channel, and some of you might not get it, but you start seeing little things, and then if you do watch the news on telly, you're like, oh yeah, that's why they're saying that, and that's why they're saying this, and it is quite comical, really. But you see, celebrities, whoa. That's what made me laugh when Angelina Jolie was on the documentary, on the Queen's documentary yesterday, and what's coming soon, the wedding. I don't know whether to just watch that just to see if anything, I don't know, because I wouldn't normally watch it, because like I said, they don't interest me. But it is an exciting time to be alive, as they keep saying, because it is bonkers at the same time. Oh, did you spot me on there? Yeah, my dad got me to go on there. I think it was at the beginning of the year, because I've always been a bit, people would say, head in the clouds, and that's what I was trying to say before. I don't like being controlled. My mum came down this weekend. Bless her, she's really good. She does things good. Yeah, We The People 24/7 you all want to go and check out. If you get it, you don't. You don't have to go over there. I'm not telling you to go over there. I'm just saying if you want to try and get your head around what I'm saying, to see what you think yourself. It's all right watching conspiracy things, but it's better to maybe go and watch something, because like I said, there's a lot of phony fake ones out there, but they do give you links that you can go and find out yourself, and you will find stuff out. But my mum came down, and she's got OCD, so she likes cleaning, but I think in the first 10 minutes of arriving, I think I must have had 5 arguments with her when she came, because I say we're all the same. We are all the same from one source, but we're all different in personalities and, you know, how we've been brought up and this, that and the other. And she was brought up from a different generation of my grandma, which that's another thing I could talk about. But she's like, oh, why have you got this in here? Like, why have you got a lot of these? I've only got them just because I like them. And she'll always go on, why have you got this, and why have you got these salt rock things, and why have you got this and that, and oh, you shouldn't have this and that. And I'm like, Mum, it's my life. I am not the same as you, so therefore I like this and I like that. And she'll just keep going on about it. And I do get really mad with her, and I know say don't treat people the same, but sometimes you have to have a bit of a rant, because I have said in the past, you know, sometimes be the bigger person, you don't have to come back at someone, but every now and again you do have to have a rant, because you do need to get things off your chest, because I think it's bad to hold things in all the time. And I was just like, Mum, stop. I said, you like Heil Hitler, whatever his name, Hitler. I said, you're just trying to control me all the time. I said, you know, I've never been good with being controlled. I don't like people telling me what to do, like most people don't, but I don't want you telling me what you want. I'm 41. I don't want you telling me what I should be doing at my age and how I should live and the things I should have in my house, the things I should wear. I'm not doing it. I'm me. And just because I've got something you don't like, or you wouldn't have it that way, or like she rearranges the kitchen, or she does this and she moves things about, and I'm like, I'll just put it straight back when you've gone. I don't like control, and that's why I just don't. A lot of people don't like control, but we have been controlled for many years, but in a way that we've not noticed. And also, talking about conspiracy theories, this might sound really bonkers, but in my bedroom, my blinds are, is that vertical, the vertical ones, and they were supposed to be blackout blinds, but the light still comes through, the rubbish. And I've had them for a couple of years because I haven't got curtains up as well. I think I need to get some curtains, and I need to have it pitch black because the light comes through. And I was watching something the other day, or it might have been on Mia's new pair of glasses, where she actually said, or somebody said, the light we have today, like LED, artificial lights, but even the ones in the street from years ago, I'm sure they used to be orangier, and now they're quite bright white light, is put there, this is going to sound mad, but I actually believe it because it keeps me awake, to disturb us, to that it is quite light, that it does, you know, if you haven't got like really dark curtains and stuff to block it out, that's another way disturbing us, you know, like I said, with frequencies through your phone, through your Wi-Fi, through smart meters and all that sort of stuff. It does affect our health, and that does with sleep. And you need to get good sleep it needs to be pitch black, quiet, so put earplugs in. You need to be coming off computers, phones or whatever a good couple of hours before you go to sleep. Oh, thank you. Before you go to sleep, and not drinking or eating things that sort of, wake you up, like before you go into bed. Like, don't have obviously coffee. Coffee's not a good thing in the morning when everyone's been joking about a bit of cancer with coffee, because yes, and that was actually on telly the other day. They actually brought that out of a snippet of something they were saying, but tried to go to bed a bit earlier. Exactly, LED lights can be a cause of seizures and brain problems. That's what I mean, and I've noticed, not thought about this before, obviously the lights coming through my bedroom, and I've always said, I just like it pitch black, but it's never pitch black, so I'd have to put an eye mask on, gloss that, because it does disturb, because it's too light. And that's why I believe we have them lights now, not because we're going for the future and this, that and the other. There's nothing wrong with those. They weren't sure the lights were like an orangey, I don't mean orangey, but like more of a calming light years ago. I'm sure they were. Not what we have today, because we didn't have LEDs ages ago. But all these things that we think are normal are put there in place to disturb us, minds and bodies, health-wise, mentally health-wise. Because I'm not being funny. The amount of people that say today, kids, adults, who've got anxiety, depression, all these illnesses now, and you think years ago we didn't have that many illnesses. People say, oh yeah, we used to have things like the plague and this, that and the other. No, don't believe everything in history anyway. Yeah, we might have done, but what's contributing to all this illness, all this stress, all this anxiety, this, that and the other? It's the things that are in our environment that we think, oh yeah, they're great, these, because they're new, and it's, yeah, some of it sort of does help, but behind the scenes, a lot of it doesn't. We like it because the ego, when I talk about the false ego before, we want stuff. Things keep us addicted, so we keep wanting stuff. We must have the new latest. I'm not even getting one when it comes out. The new latest. I mean, I've had this phone cover for ages. I'm not really bothered. It's grubby, but, the new latest phone that comes out. They're ringing me. I think they've been ringing me for a new phone. I don't want a new phone. There's nothing wrong with this. I've had it for nearly 2 years. I haven't dropped it. It's not smashed. I never get insurance on it because why? I look after it. Yeah, vaccines. That's what I mean, big pharmacy. I was trying to have a discussion with this. People don't believe it, but they don't have to believe it. I believe it. But I don't want a new phone. I'll just go on a different tariff. I don't want a new phone. But because we're always in that, like sugar's bad. Sugar's bad. It's an addiction, like food and booze and stuff, but they keep us addicted to keep you wanting. So when you talk about the ego, the false ego, mine's been dropping. Certain things I can't say I've come off. I wasn't really drinking anyway. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. But with like, people get addicted to wearing certain clothing, or they have to have this and it's, I want this, I want that. And then, a week after they're not bothered about it because it's buying the next thing, consumerism. It's not if you want it, it's if you need it. Do you really need it? Are you just wanting it because your friend's got one and you want to look good? Because they just want you spending. Being in debt. Money goes up all the time and you don't get pay rises and you're on minimum wage and that don't go up, but they still want you spending and you still will spend. We want a new car like what next door's got. I don't drive either. Yeah, they've literally found a way to make everything bad for you. And it's awful because if you think that much about it, it's like everything, literally everything. As we've progressed in technology, along with that comes destruction of us, basically. And I know we'll always be inventing stuff and this, that and the other, but it's just bonkers. Like I said, if my ideal thing was... Yeah, I do know about aborted babies. They're using aborted babies in food additives. And that's why you say when you... Yeah, I've heard about it. Because they did say ages ago once, McDonald's had horses in it once ages ago, but people won't believe stuff like that because it's hard to believe. And when something's hard to believe, that's when they're like, well, it's a conspiracy or I won't believe it. But yeah, I have seen that, I have read it. I do believe it, that they've been using aborted babies in food additives and stuff. So therefore they could say you're cannibalism really, because that's what's going on as well. Food additives. And it is hard to get out of. Like, I've gone plant-based, but the way they're doing everything now with spraying us from above and all this, it's very hard to be like, everything's totally natural, because it's not. But yeah, the GMOs and all that, but it is like, how dare they put stuff in our food like that? But they will, because they don't have to tell you everything that's in your food. That's why I say maybe sometimes, I'm going to have a go at growing a few bits myself, because I do like them. But that's what they don't want us doing. You don't want you growing your own food. They don't want you doing anything, basically. That's why I believe in, like, they go on about, there's too many people on the planet and housing, and then when they do put housing up, it's small, with small windows or lots of flats, which isn't a problem, but they don't always come with a lot of grounds for people to chill out in. What I was saying the other day about earth and gardens, and believe it or not, it's all right saying, oh yeah, I like futuristic things, and the way we have technology and this, that, the other. Even if the world turned into one big concrete planet with no trees on it and nothing, we would die. Humans are meant to be in nature. Humans are meant to be on earth, connecting to the earth, eating things from the earth, using medicine from the earth. That is what we're supposed to do. If we were meant to be on a concrete planet run by a load of technical stuff, that's how the world would have, I just believe that's what we would have been on in the beginning. Yes, we've had to grow, because we've had to sort of, ascend a little bit with different things, but I don't think everything. Don't get me wrong, I do think there's good in both, because things could help with, like I said the other day, about helping the planet, or helping people, or helping animals, or just stuff like that, but not to destruct everything and everyone. Everyone thinks they're free, but they're not. You think you have a free mind, but you don't. The only way you can choose to be freer at the minute in the way we live in, and this is going to be done over time anyway, you know what I mean? Like I said, there's always going to be good and there's always going to be evil. Yeah, they say that about the fallen angels giving the elite the knowledge to carry out all the technology. Yeah, and there's so many things that people are talking about. It is amazing, whatever side of it you believe, if you believe that side, or if you believe that side, or there's lots of different things people are talking about. That's why it's interesting. But all in all, I do think it is like the good versus evil, and there always has been, and it always will be like that. But I just think, a lot of the masses are going to go that way. That's why it's hard with the young ones sometimes, not all of them. Yeah, I've heard about the Book of Enoch, if that's how you say it, sorry. Who want, consume. And they said, like, if all that fell down, if all that fell through, like technology, you couldn't be on Facebook anymore, you couldn't be on here, you couldn't be, and it all went back to sort of like, what do you go and do now? You're not watching your programmes, blah, blah, you have to go and be sort of natural, a bit more natural again. A lot of people would be like, oh my God, don't know what to do, like, I can't stand it, because they'd miss all that stuff, like, you didn't have cars or something, or you'd miss all that stuff that you've known to grow up around, especially the generation of today, are a lot used to phones and computers and stuff like that, gaming and stuff like that. They wouldn't know what to do with themselves, because that's the way they've always, this generation. But to go against it a little bit, you just have to be a bit different and think, well, I'm not buying that, I'm not eating that, I don't have to wear that, I don't have to do that. I'd rather just go and chill in the garden, connecting with friends, and go and sit in the pub getting absolutely drunk, or just going against the grain basically whenever possibly you can do it and get away with doing it, if you sort of know what I mean. And yeah, there's zero moderation. And some people these days just do not seem to give a toss about planet Earth, because they'll always see it as like eco warriors, or the hippy dippies or whatever, but you got to think about it. If you're born in a generation where it is all computerised, that's probably what you're going to think, but you've got to realise where we actually came from, as in the earth, and Mother Nature's always give us everything. And if it all goes, like they're going about bumblebees being in, dying off and stuff like that. Someone said don't know if it was Albert Einstein, once the bumblebees go, we will go as well. She mentioned that yesterday, actually, on the documentary The Queen. She said something about bumblebees. I was like, but we are all supposed to live alongside each other, and well, that all comes from greed anyway, technology, from wanting to find stuff all the time. Oh my God, you've just reminded me. Yes, that's what I was thinking of, and I'm not joking, look. Right, so, talking about craft-wise. So I've been making some journals again. For those of you know that, I make journals now again, and it's nowhere near finished, but I was going to call them gardening journals, but they are basically just more of a blank journal than I did before when I did fancy ones, but it's not finished. But they are journals, and this one's actually got a little envelope inside that you can put seeds in or something if you were using it as that. And then inside it's actually got, obviously you can't smell it, my homemade chamomile and orange tea that you could either take out of this and put it in the bag and put it in your tea, and I'm going to put one of them in there. And then also, I can't believe you just reminded me because I was totally going to forget. Then I remembered that I had some of these bags left because I'm going to use them because I want to have less plastics, carrier bags and stuff like that. Oh, my book. Oh, that's not a fancy. I've done some fancier ones like these. This was made out of a cereal. No, this was made out of a real book, but I did all the... I make them now and again handmade out of junk or papers or whatever. Tea dye them and everything. Because I want to start selling, you just reminded me, some more of my handmade stuff like these. I've shown these before. These jewellery that I make now and again. I make bits and bobs. Thank you. I make bits and bobs because I'm quite a creative person, and because I don't watch telly a lot, I make a lot of stuff. But I was thinking the other day, right, so I obviously don't want plastic bags, so I've been trying to keep the bags for life, so you don't have to keep buying plastic bags because plastic's a massive problem. And these bags, but I thought, I need to paint on them because I've got some fabric paint and paint something on. I should put number 17 on this side, and then on that side, what's your favourite letter of the alphabet, put mine's Q on it. I need to do something bonkers like that. And then another one, I was thinking of like a tree with hearts on and saying something like nature, Q. Yeah, I just need to put massive Q. I'm going to have to do it and show you. Nature equals cure or something like that. And then I had this t-shirt because I was going to print something on it, but I was going to hand paint it, but I haven't got round to it. So, and it was Fruit of the Loom one as well, cotton. So I'm going to have a bash, maybe this weekend or whenever I've got a bit of time, maybe when little one's in bed, to design something on here. I don't know if it'll be on the front or it'll just say something on the back so it looks plain on the front. It'll say something on the back like nature equals cure, or I don't know, something earthy. Yeah, you just reminded me because that's what I was going to show. Something like that, because I've decided I need to start making some things that are putting... If they can put things out there on telly to visualise and all this fake stuff, celebrities and all that, then I can have my own clothes with my own words that I want to put out to the world, even if people look at it and think, what? It make people think. I will. I've got some material paint, so I'm going to have to design something. Because as you know, I like drawing. I've actually got a big canvas my dad gave me for my birthday, and I was thinking of a design or something of a woman stood with glowing hearts to do with love and nature. Any pictures that I drew ages ago, I think I should try and maybe, I don't know, start painting up on big pictures now. I'm just trying to look if there was anything in here. My old books, I don't know. But, so you might start seeing some of my artwork again. But I definitely need to get the messages out there. Yeah, I've seen you can make stencils. I think I did buy some plastic stuff where you can cut your stencil and print them out, because I think what I want to do is I want to get a page up again, because I did have one on Facebook. I'm not too bad. I'll just show you. I'm not too bad. Oh, I'm not too bad. For the people who haven't seen, I'll see what I've got. There's a little... See, but this makes me think now, I was drawing all this stuff a few months back. And fairy tales and stuff. And now I've learned different stories about different fairy tales, because this looks a bit like Sleeping Beauty. I'm like, oh. This one I would love to do in a painting. I never coloured it in, but, you know, sort of, we were a bit spiritual. What else did I do? I know, it's because I just ran upstairs. I was like, where are they? I had to switch the heating off as well. What else did I draw? Oh, it was a French cake shop, if anyone remembers, in France, obviously. When I was practising, the more you practice, the better you get. People have seen these. What else did I have? I had the big book, you know, this design. This only had one picture in, and I said I'd do some more, which I will try and do, because I just did one picture. Wish Upon a Star it was. Sort of thing. But yeah, I like to do lots of different things, because like I said, I don't watch a lot of telly. Thank you. Watercolour, yeah. Watercolours, just because it's quite calming. Oh, that was an old one. I have got quite a few books dotted about, actually, with different drawings in. I've got loads of them. Flower pressing, drawing, painting, crochet, cross stitch, knitting, gardening now. No, yeah, well, no, I didn't draw it. I've still got to have this bit done. I told the guy what I wanted, and said I wanted a girl with beads hanging off her and this, that and the other, and I had a butterfly anyway. Added some more. It's still got to be finished off, probably with flowers on, because it is supposed to be my version of Mother Nature. As I was talking about, that's what I'm into and stuff like that. But yeah, but I want more, so I should design the rest of it myself and draw. So I do want a bumblebee on somewhere, because I'm from Manchester and the thing happened, you know, in the arena. And everyone in Manchester went and had the bumblebee tattoos to show support. I was going to get it done, but I didn't. But I'm sort of glad in a way. Not because I want a bumblebee, but I don't want a bumblebee that happened, I just don't like the design of it. This probably sounds a bit awful, but I want my design. What happened, if you're in America, I don't know if you heard of it. Was it Ariande, what's the singer called? She came to the arena in Manchester, and they say it was a suicide bomber, set a bomb off, and, you know, killed a lot of people and that, and it wasn't nice. I don't know if you heard of a lot of it Yeah, you did. Yeah. Well, after that, they had a concert for the children and that who passed away, because it was a lot of children were at the concert. Obviously following her because she's quite young, and a lot of tattoo shops where I live and in Manchester and that had either cheaper or free or whatever it was, where you could go in and everyone had a bumblebee, because the bumblebee in Manchester is a sign of workers, you know. Yeah, the worker bee, you know, we all come together and this, that and the other. So, which was great. Everyone went and had that done. I didn't get mine done, but I do want one, which will be in with the, you know, my whole Mother Nature thing anyway, bumblebees. But I wanted sort of a traditional bee, as in a fat bumblebee, where it was a nice bee, but it was the way they designed it, everyone had the same one, if you know what I mean. Yeah, yeah, a bit, yeah. I want flowers and stuff. It'll probably be lower arm tattoo right round in the end. Whenever I get it done, it might end up an arm one. I don't know, but yeah, bumblebees and some flowers and things on it. When you have water in this, distilled water, in copper, it does taste really nice. It keeps it really cold. Someone said they use these for a drink called Moscow Mule or something. So, yeah. But apparently, I've heard copper's really good for you. That's why they're always trying to tell us to have iron, but copper's really good for you, which they normally say steer away. But what I've sort of recently learned, that is, most things you say you should have and not have, it's the opposite thing you should be having. Not in every case, but quite a few things I've been looking into. But yeah, so I best go and get on. But beer and ale, yeah. I'm just trying to think if I had anything else to say, because I don't know if any of that made sense. I know what I'm waffling on about. As long as I know what I'm waffling on about, my thoughts and stuff, and I know what's going on, then that's fair enough. Let me see. But that's why you'll hear a lot of people saying consciousness, the event, everyone's awakening, red pill, blue pill. It's to do with people waking up to what's been going on. I know, well, like I said, I do live streams all the time, and I need to do a few more, but it's because I've been trying to not do as much stuff on the old technology thing, because I need time off it as well. But yeah, but I do like a chat. I think I just wrote that thing about mankind. When you look at the word mankind, I do sometimes. Mankind, split it down the middle. Mankind, we should be kind. And history, his story. Oh, what he makes them. They're really good. I've got 4 and I get my kids to drink out of them as well. That's why the job that I want to do from home, being a nail technician, is poo-hoo all the side of like nails and that. It's like I like talking to people, so if I can get homemade, he makes homemade ones. Talking to women and stuff like that, and chatting and making them feel good, and like being in a room where it's relaxing, and it's only going to be a one-to-one, not other people there, so they can talk about, you know, a bit of an agony aunt, and I like stuff like that, and they can come and talk about what they want to talk to and feel relaxed and all that, so that's good to me. I wouldn't mind with jewellery making, doing some, I have done jewellery with bits of copper where I've used a hammer and hammered it out, and I've had bits of copper, and I do want to make, I do want to make some jewellery with copper in, because I do believe it's good for you. And they're even saying something about when you start getting white hairs, deficiency and things. Not what they tell you it is, it's stress and this, that and the other. As I wouldn't say I'm a stressed person, and mine's... And I have a fight with that now, because I think I am going to come do a chat again about age. People have just heard recently getting... I love hammered copper. It's so pretty. If I do any jewellery, I'll have to show you. But, you know, getting upset about getting older, and, like, I was thinking the other day, I don't know if I have to like go at the front and the sides, and then when you have it two-toned, it'll be darker at the bottom, which it probably will be. But that's another thing. I just don't want to be putting hair dye on my hair because I think it's chemical. It is chemicals. Grey hairs from peroxide. What, as in how do we have peroxide? Oh, in what, as in hair colour? Peroxide's in hair colour, isn't it? And I've been colouring my hair since I was like 15, when we used to put like little bits of red tints on it. What, grey hair, what, peroxide's made in the body, or what do you mean, like, because peroxide's in hair colour, isn't it? Or is it, or am I thinking of something else? I like grey hair. It's distinguished, or whatever you call, and a sign of wisdom. So I quite like. I mean, you can see it here. I've tend to have more on this side than this side. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Oh, it's like, yeah. I want it to come through. I've seen a load of women with grey hair. I love men with grey hair anyway. I think it looks really nice. But I've seen a lot of women, models as well, where they've got grey hair. They've let it come out, even if it's a bit at the front. And it looks really pretty. It's just that in society, because that's what I need to have a chat about. Oh, it will do when it starts. I'm going to let it come out, I'll see. Because the thing is, if I didn't like it and I wanted to dye it, I think I'd go down the henna route, because exactly. Society, I will come back and do a chat about society, because what I've learned as I've got older is society just gets on my nerves. And that's the whole thing about, there has been a big movement with people. I mean, men have always sort of done it, but women have always, trying to cover the hair up in the grey, because women are like, oh, women are really bad to women, like, you look older, or, it's not a thing to do because it ages you. I don't think it actually ages you. It depends on what you're wearing and stuff, how you have your hair and stuff, I think you can make it look good. But I do believe that if I tried to grow it out, I'd have to do it now, because I'm getting a lot of strands in all over and it'd come out. But if I kept dyeing it, I'm going to get the skunk line, which I don't think looks good. Yeah. They do. Society judges everything. So if I'm going to go against the grain, I need to grow my hair out and do it the grey to show people that, it's not aging. There's certain things you don't have to do. Like, everyone wears false lashes at the minute. Don't get me wrong, I love them. If I go out, I have got little corner ones I put in, and I love them. But because everybody likes them, I don't want to do them at the minute. I have worn them in the day, sometimes these little tiny corner ones, but a lot of girls have these big ones. And don't get me wrong, I think they look lovely. But if that's a fashion, I don't want to do it. If something's fashion, I don't want to do it. It's like everyone straightens their hair. Everyone knows my hair's naturally curly. I don't know what it's going to look like if I take it out now, because it is a mess, because it's dried funny. But if everyone's got curly hair, then I've not scrunched it or anything. Mine is pretty mad. And it look mad now because it's not, it's been up and it sticks out everywhere, but it's growing. It's naturally, this is it naturally. Hi, juice my randomness. It's... Oh, you are? Yeah. Sort of, this has been shoved up, so it does look a bit naff, but everyone knows on my other posts I can make it really curly. But if everyone's got curly hair, straight hair, then I'd rather have curly hair. But it's this today of, everyone's got to have straight hair if you've got curly hair. A lot of people I thought had naturally straight hair have got curly hair. I just didn't know because, it has got a lot of volume in it. We all have to look the same. Everyone has to look the same. Straight hair, this, that and the other. What fits society. Yeah, when I was at school, everyone had the hair permed, but I didn't actually need it. Thank you. I think I'm always look like I'm changing all the time, because my hair's something one time and then the next time it's something else. It's probably because I don't like being the same, and I don't like being the same as everyone else. Like I said, if everyone's got straight hair, then I'll go the opposite. Obviously, if a curly hair comes in fashion, doesn't mean I'm going to straighten mine. I've actually got sick of straightening it. I don't think it's good for your hair. You know, and a lot of people do all these different things. And it is all each to their own. It's not, I'm saying it's wrong. I'm just not into that or anymore. Since, what's going on with this? Since finding things out, and society actually gets on my nerves these days. I think that's why some people, as you get older, people go, oh, they've turned into a right, what we say over here, old fat or something. Oh, they're boring and all this. It's not that. I just despise some of the things sometimes, and I don't want to be around it, and there's nothing wrong in that. If you do want to be around it, you want to be around it. But my ego is not on that level anymore of, because don't get me wrong, I used to love shopping. I still shop obviously, but I do it a bit more frugal these days, and it's more about if I need something, not if I want something, because want can get you into debt, and society is built around all stuff like that. It's always wanting what the next door neighbours have got, this, that and everything. It's all to get you buying basically. And there's nothing wrong with it if you love it, but I'm just saying it's fallen away from me these days, and I'm much happier with the things I've got, and I don't necessarily want the things just because something's come in fashion or whatever. Oh, thank you. No, God, 41. But like I said, I haven't got foundation on today. I normally have a bit on, but I thought I wouldn't because that's what I normally do. I think I look all right for my age, but I just think that's because I've never smoked. I don't drink. I can't say I don't really drink. I don't drink. I can do without it. I'm literally thinking about next time I go out, I'm actually not gonna. No, I'm not 40, I'm 41. I've got an 18-year-old, he's nearly 19, and a 3-year-old, so yes, 41, 42 next year. But like I said, I've always not smoked, I don't really drink. I could safely say next time I go out, I'm not even going to bother drinking alcohol. Some people do, I just don't. Just a young girl. It's how you feel inside as well, I think, if you project it out as well. But I'm not saying that I look that young. I'm just saying I think I look all right for my age. But, see, I believe a lot in license, please. I believe a lot in, if you're always chasing something and always wanting something, and that thing stresses you out, because like I've said before to people on here, if you're constantly getting those magazines, watching the TV programmes, these stupid TV programmes, don't get me wrong, I used to watch them with the women in and all that, and you're looking at magazines and they're telling you how you should look, how you should wear your hair, how much weight you should be, what the ideal weight is, what the ideal of beauty is to somebody else, but the whole world goes off that. You're stressing, you're getting anxiety, you're getting depressed because you're feeling you're not, for example, up to that standard. You don't have to be up to that standard. Yeah, makes people discontent, and that's what it's all about. It's to make you feel crap, it's to make you have anxiety, it's to make you feel depressed, it's to make you feel that way. Like I said, everything is going off vibrations and emotions, and that's why I had to stop watching the telly and that in the news, because I was so upset about everything. Yeah, and commercialism. I've always said, men or women, they will always find something attractive in somebody. Everybody's different. It'd be a boring place if everybody looked the same, which people are beginning to look very much the same with the stuff that they're having done to the faces, this, that and the other. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I'm just saying people are beginning to look the same. It's better to have a choice of all people being all different, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so don't get too hooked up on what somebody has put out there saying this is the ideal of beauty, or this is the weight you should be, this is what you should wear to make yourself more attractive. No, they want you buying all the cosmetics and all the cosmetic procedures and all the clothing, the labelled clothes and the shoes and this, that and the other, and the diet things and all that. That's what it is basically all about, to make you feel like crap, so you will go and buy something that makes you feel better or look better, because they want you to buy, and basically that is what it's about. Because at the end of the day, if we did all look the same, literally, we all wore the same clothes, we all look the same, what would someone go off? Someone would go off your personality of how you are, because, oh my God, it would be so boring. But people would literally go off your personality, you know, if you were a nice person and whatever, because we'd all look the same. How would you distinguish someone if you all look the same? And that's why I always say people call people weird for looking different and being different and having their own sort of different opinion on something or different style or look. Well, you don't need to be, but I salute everybody who is like that. And me being one of them, because people think I'm strange, because that means you've got your own way of thinking and you don't like being controlled by the masses. But some people like that and they like going along with that. But maybe it'll just make you think sometimes. Maybe you don't have to be doing something because somebody else is doing it, or they've put it out there in the fashion world, because there's just an agenda behind all of that. But I'm going to go now, because I've been yakking for ages and probably gone off the subject and probably didn't make sense. I know I did to some of you. Yeah, I will be coming back and I will show you. When I've done these, I'll just think of what I can put on it. I've got a slight idea, but I've definitely got to do a Q shopping bag, because I'll definitely have to do that. I might try that tonight. That'll be a quick one. I will go shopping with that. Because also, the appointment I went to the other week about my job and that, she said to bring some of my handmade stuff in. Oh, thanks. She said to bring some of my handmade stuff in. So I'll have to take a Q bag in. She'll probably be like, why has it got a Q on it? If you found me on there, you might have seen my dad on there, the wax man. He's on there as well. But, yeah. So thanks for the people who are watching. Even thanks to the people who watch and don't get it, and the people who put thumbs down, because like I said, we're all one. It doesn't matter if you're putting thumbs down. Yeah, either putting thumbs down because you didn't get it, you don't like my channel anyway, which is obviously what I say. I don't know why people are watching if they don't like it anyway. It just bewilders me. But then at the end of the day, I just think, oh well, I like you too. It doesn't matter. So yeah, like I said, you want to go and check it out. We the People 24/7 on YouTube, and I will see you soon. I will be watching the news after just to see what they're saying today. And I will be on Discord after in a bit as well. I will be going over there actually now, tidy up my stuff that I've put on the floor, and I'll be popping over to see what's what. But the only one thing I did put on Discord the other day is I just found it amazing that I know it's in films and everything, but I did watch. I haven't seen the last one and I need to see it. I watched, what was on yesterday? Was it yesterday? Transformers, because I love it. Even though, you know, films. Transformers, The Dark Side of the Moon, which made me laugh. And at the beginning, they've got JFK in it. And on the wall, they've got a picture of Obama. And they do mention Trump Tower, because Trump Tower's where they're putting one of the things that they're bringing the wormhole in to bring all the baddie Decepticons onto planet Earth. Decepticons. Yeah, see them as somebody else, the Decepticons, you know, them deceptive people, the Decepticons, funny name. And it just made me laugh because it did mention quite a lot of things in Transformers. But you know the way to twist things and make... Sometimes it could be the other way around of what they're saying. So yeah, and I'll see you soon. Bye!